Hey, it's Kyle Shannon with the AI Learning Lab. I was uh, live before, but then it looked like I froze because my user count just stopped going up and people said it looks like he froze. So I was talking about Cabbage Dad, that little picture there, this little picture. This is the AI Learning Lab. If you are curious about AI, if you're wondering what the heck's going on with AI, if you have questions about I do my best to answer questions there. I also make videos, like pre-recorded things during the day, but I just started going live about a week ago. So I'm trying to figure this out. I turned 58 yesterday, so if I suck at this, that's why, because I'm just an old guy. I'm a Gen Xer. I ain't no boomer. I know how to use technology, but I ain't no fucking millennial. I'm neither. We are the forgotten bitter class. Bitter? You betcha. All right. Kyle Shannon, AI Learning Lab. If you have questions about AI, jump in, ask me questions. I hope you're all doing well tonight. You can ask me anything. Let's see. Ron just commented somewhere that I'm living in amazing times. These are amazing times. They're absolutely amazing times. This is the what's wrong with millennials. Millennials are fine. What happens is the older people bitched about millennials not working like they worked, and then the millennials called them boomers and said, "Oh, boomer," or "Sorry, boomer," or whatever the hell the boomer thing was. And boomers are more like, World War II kids, and Gen Xers are sort of in the between of the boomers and the millennials, and no one talked about them. So for years it was millennials and boomers warring, and at some point someone goes, "Wait a minute, what about Gen X? Why didn't they get picked on?" So, thought you were a cam. I'm not a cam, I'm real. Well, I could be GPT-5. It's just that, would this really be the face you synthesize if you're going to make this a pre-recorded thing? What's wrong with millennials? Sorry about that. Media pipe. Did I say media pipe? I might have said media pipe. What platform can generate realistic pictures like that for a social technology called Dream Booth? And Dream Booth, sorry, I'm trying to change the focus. Did it go? There it goes. Dream Booth allows you to train Stable Diffusion on your image. So I uploaded like 20 or 30 pictures and then just started telling it to make images. And they're all sort of me, but not me, which gave me this idea to create this thing called Kyle Shannon Dreams. So if you go to Instagram/Kyle Shannon Dreams, you can see some of these dudes. That dude's particularly inspiring. I'll leave him up for a while. But that was Stable Diffusion. You can also now with Midjourney, you could upload an image and modify it. So I think you can do this kind of one image will generate another image in a different style. So there's lots of different things you can do. But these were all done in Stable Diffusion. All right. Oh, okay, Boomer. That was the thing. Someone just put something in there. All right. What is the best AI resource to generate video shorts and voice? So it depends on the video shorts you want to do. If you want to do video to video, there's a tech or a company called Runway ML, and they've got Gen 1 and Gen 2. So Gen 1, you can take a video and like a video of yourself walking down the street and then transform that into like a claymation dude walking down the street. That's Gen 1, and they just released that as an app. And then, so Runway ML Gen 1, I think, is an app, or I think it's the Runway ML app that you use. And then Gen 2 is text to video. I think you have to still do that on their Discord server. If you want to do things like synthesized voice, where you take a still image, like, you could take a still image like this old dude and animate him to say something. That there's a site called d-id.com, and it looks like this. Let me log in here for a second. Log in with my Google single sign-on. All right, so there's a bunch of videos that I've made. So if you say create video, what you do here is you pick one of these images. Like that image there is an image that Leah Faston, who's a photographer, she's the co-host with me for the AI Salon, which, by the way, the next AI Salon is tomorrow night. If you're interested in joining the salon, go to a link in my bio. There's a link tree there, so there's a link to the salon. It's just a community of people geeking out about AI. So anyway, she made me that. So that's one. I've also got this image that I uploaded. That's the cyborg me. That's kind of the genesis image of Kyle Shannon Dreams. And then they have all these other people that are just their pre-built characters. So one way you can do this is you can pick a synthesized voice and you can type something in. So I know it's hard to see this stuff, but at the bottom here are the different voices. So the first thing is, what language do you want to do? So you can do, different languages, or you can do different accents. And then you can, let's see, I guess I have to pick a language first. Hold, please. Ding, 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 ding. We'll do Australian English, and then there's Annette, Carly, Elise. We'll do a dude. We'll do Duncan, and then let's go to we're gonna go to ChatGPT. If you've never been to ChatGPT, it's at chat.openai.com. And we'll say, write a short monologue from an out-of-work actor about eating mac and cheese. Out-of-work actor leans against the kitchen counter holding a box of mac and cheese. Ah, mac and cheese, the ultimate comfort food. All right, so I'll just grab that little paragraph there. So we'll go back to D-ID and we'll paste that little monologue into the window up there. And then you say generate video in this upper right-hand corner. And it's going to make that dude say that monologue in Italian, or with an Australian accent. And so there's all the other videos that I've made. And I'll play one of the other ones there. But it'll do it pretty quickly. It's like 4 or 5 seconds. And then it will pop up a little window. And we'll say generate. All right, 10 seconds. This is one of those things. Oh, it's going to be so cool. Wait till you see it. And then, the person's just sitting there.
Mac and cheese, the ultimate comfort food for us struggling actors. There's something about this humble dish that fills the emptiness within me every time I go without an audition or, worse, face another rejection. There's a certain solace, a warmth that emanates from every gooey, golden forkful, as if it's whispering to me, you'll get through this.
Who said AI had to be serious and evil? Are these the robots that are going to kill us all? I don't think so. They might. But anyway, that's how you make those things. So if you've ever wondered how to make those things, that's D-ID. All right, what are the best AI resources? Oh, to generate videos, I did that. I thought you were a cam. Okay, boomer. I'm not a boomer. I'm Gen Xer. Gen X is rad, man. We're so cool. People forgot to talk about us. Do you use media pipe? I do not. What do you smoke in a media pipe? Oh, that's a boomer joke. All right. Feel free to ask any questions about AI. I'll do my best to answer it. That's what this channel's all about. All right. Best platform to produce short videos and VO. I think I just showed that. Opus is good for clipping videos. Yeah, Opus is good for clipping videos. There's another one called Video, VIDYO, that you can upload a long-form video. It'll generate a bunch of clips. There's also Descript that does video. So that's good. Oh, Joyce.Vine shared the live. Encourage more viewers to share. Sure, feel free to share this. I think tap on the screen. That's what someone said the other day that knows more about TikTok than I did. If you tap on the screen, I get lots of love bubbles, and I'm human. Who doesn't want a love bubble? All right. What do I think? Hey, Ron. What do I think about the writers' union strike? I'm a screenwriter. I've written 7 screenplays, so I empathize with them. Their concerns about ChatGPT are warranted. What they're basically saying is they want the studios to agree not to use ChatGPT to replace them, right? Which I understand. And at some point, some scummy film executive's going to say, "Oh yeah, I can just have ChatGPT. Like I always wanted to be a writer, but I suck, and I'm not going to admit that, so I'll just use it and produce my own movie." So I think that's going to happen at some point. I don't think that's going to be the norm. I also think that this idea that ChatGPT is kind of this separate thing from writing is going to disappear relatively quickly. Like it's happening in universities right now, and higher, high school and things like that, even junior high, where there's kind of this battle of is ChatGPT cheating, and we're going to have GPT detectors and all that stuff. The deal is this: these large language models like ChatGPT are going to be everywhere. They're going to be ubiquitous. We're in a really finite window right now where ChatGPT feels like it's this thing off to the side, and then the rest of the world is over here. It's going to do this really, really quick. Microsoft's going to roll it into Office 365. Google's going to roll it into Google Docs. I would be dramatically surprised if every screenwriting software didn't rule GPT-like generation tools within it. The writing process when you use ChatGPT and when you do generative images and things like that is much more collaborative than people realize. It's not like write me a screenplay and out comes, Star Wars. It's very iterative. It's like I have an idea here, or like one example I did, I took an incomplete screenplay I had, I copied and pasted in the first 2 scenes of the screenplay, and the bulk of the outline, but it was an incomplete outline. It was an ADD, like it was just an aborted attempt at a screenplay. And so I just started sort of co-writing with ChatGPT, where I said, finish the outline for me, and it finished the outline, and it wasn't bad. And then I said, rewrite the outline as a comedy, and it did that. And then I said, write scene 3 for me. So I had written scenes 1 and scenes 2, and it wrote scene 3, and it kind of sucked pretty bad. And then I said, no, write scene 3 where this character does this and that character does that. And then it got better, and then I told it explicitly, write it in the style of scenes 1 and scenes 2, and then it got better. But it was a lot of back and forth. So I think what we're going to see is writers are going to start incorporating these tools into their existing process. So I think long term, that I understand the sentiment of that particular part of the strike. I just don't think that's how things are ultimately going to play out. So I don't know. It's a bummer. I hate strikes, but I understand why they're there, and I think it's important that people get paid. But I also think we're entering an era of infinite content creation instantly, and I think the economic foundation of nearly everything is going to transform pretty dramatically. Is AI generated art legal to use? If you use things like so it's a very, very gray area whether or not you can copyright it. The Copyright Office has put out guidance that says you can sort of copyright it, but not really. We think sort of, but not sure. Some other government agencies put out some really vague stuff. So it's very, very unclear right now. Things like Midjourney and Stable Diffusion were absolutely trained on, lots and lots of images, some of which are copyrighted. One of the misconceptions about the way those tools work is that people think that they're copying and pasting elements of copywritten work and pasting that together, like doing sort of montages or collages. That's not how they work. It really is this kind of deeper mathematical thing. Every image that's generated is a true original generated piece of art. I happen to think it's art because it's intentional. Someone typed in a prompt to get it, and they're generating it. But if you used another artist's name to get a particular style, then it gets a little more gray and wonky. So if you're using things like Midjourney, Stable Diffusion, a lot of corporate policy right now is you can't use those. Like I know some people at Deloitte Digital, they're not allowed to use AI generated stuff on their work computers. The one creative director that I know actually generates images on his personal machine on the weekends to use in concept boards during the week. But a good buddy of mine is pretty high up over there, and he met with the president of Adobe last week, and Adobe's got this thing called Firefly that was trained on open source and Adobe stock images, which they own all the rights to. So Adobe is trying to make it safe to use AI art commercially, and so I think right now in its beta stage you can't use it commercially. It flags everything with Adobe Firefly, but they're going to make it safe, and there's going to be lots of deals that are cut that are going to make it safe. But right now, it's a little weird. So if you work for a conservative corporate organization, I would say just follow Adobe Firefly. If you work for a little startup, I'd say just use it. I wouldn't worry too much about copywriting anything you generate right now because it's just all over the place. And like one safety thing would be rather than using a specific artist's name, try to prompt the AI to generate something like that without using their name. That might be a way to do it. Feel free to ask me questions about AI. You can subscribe to my lives by, I don't know how you do that, but I did turn it on. TikTok told me I could turn on that feature, and I did. So if you want to subscribe to these, I think you get notified when I go live, which why wouldn't you want to spend time with me sitting in my home office waxing poetic about crap? Let's get another image up here. Hold. Let's see, what's fun? Oh, that one's disturbing. There we go. That'll confuse people when they come in. The hell is this guy doing? What's with the eye? You weirdo. Is he Gen X? All right. It's like cell phones. The cameras are so good, everybody thinks they're a photographer. It's slightly different than that. I mean, it is that, and there's kind of a sameness to cell photography where everyone uses the filters. There are going to be people that are really good at generative AI and people that are not really good at generative AI, but generative AI is so good that if you have an idea for an image and you're kind of intentionally trying to do something, you can get there with this stuff. So I think it's slightly more elevated than everyone has a camera in their pocket. If it could be it could be that fast though. It just takes training. I'm not quite sure what that's in reference to. I was thinking about offering these writers a free ChatGPT coaching service. I mean, do that. Like if anyone is a writer on here that is not actively diving deep into learning ChatGPT, I think you're doing yourself a disservice. I think writers, at least short term, are going to be better at wrangling results out of these generative AI models than non-writers. So if you're not a writer diving into this, you should do it. So Ron, if you know people that are in that, screw that, I'm never going to use one of them damn robots, it can't write like a human, get them to start writing with this stuff and using it as a collaborator, and their tune will likely change. Because it's not like... The thing about these generative large language models is it's not like a Google search where you're just saying, write me a screenplay and it comes out. Like you're really doing this back and forth. I know I said that before, but like as a writer, like I find it incredibly empowering to collaborate with these tools. After a few prompts, it got very nice storylines in one morning. Yeah. If like seriously, like if you do 2 or 3 back and forths with ChatGPT, that's good. If you do 2 or 3 hours going back and forth with it, you can get to some remarkable stuff. We need to learn the prompts. Yeah, there are lots of prompts. So I've been sharing this on my lives because I think this is a big mystery. If you go to prompts.chat, prompts.chat, that will take you to awesome ChatGPT prompts. the first half of this document kind of explains to you about prompting and how they work, and it gives you some resources and ebooks and training. And then the whole rest of this document are all of these prompts that essentially give context to ChatGPT to act like a certain kind of partner, right? So this one says act as an advertiser. This one says act as a storyteller. This one says act as a football commentator, act as a stand-up comedian. It's interestingly not all that great at writing jokes, but GPT-4 is better than GPT 3.5 was, as you would hope. Act as a composer, act as a debater, act as a screenwriter, act as a therapist, act as all these different things. And it felt counterintuitive to me that you had to kind of tell it who to be. But the more you understand about how these models actually work, when you tell it who to be, you're kind of limiting the semantic cloud of words. So if you tell it to be Shakespeare, it will only answer in iambic pentameter with big fancy words like Shakespeare. So it kind of puts the model into a particular semantic space where your interactions with it, all live within that universe. So if you want to ask it questions about quantum mechanics, tell it to act as, Stephen Hawking, and whatever other, physicist that you respect, and it will get better and better and better. Other things you can do. One of the recent hacks with prompting, which I think is really interesting, is reflect on this. So you can have it give you an answer, and then you say, reflect on your answer. Critique yourself and tell me what you don't like about it. How could this be better? And it will tell you how it would be better. Then you're like, well, make it better like that, and it will. You can also just tell it what you gave me is crap, and here's why it's crap, and I want it to be better, and it will make it better. All right. Seems like the answer to losing jobs is something that would look like socialism or communism. Well, I mean, if you just go to a reductionistic view of how things are going to play out. Like, I think one of the fears is that the robots are going to take our jobs, and then humans just sit around going, well, damn, that sucks. What am I going to do now? We're humans. We're going to figure something out. And the other thing that's going to happen is these tools are so powerful and transformative that the initial disruption in jobs is going to shift into, oh, here's a whole bunch of other jobs. I think if you just sit around and wait for this shit to knock you off your seat, it will. And then if you just sit there and do nothing, then it's going to suck. And I think that there's going to be some percentage of people that happens to, and it's going to suck really bad for a while. And I think that's where, for the first time, I understand why Andrew Yang was talking about universal basic income, which is what you're bitching about. Like, people should earn their own damn money. I think some of the disruption is going to come really quickly and really swiftly. In certain industries, it's just going to decimate them short term. So I actually understand how that could be a bridging mechanism to a new future where new jobs are created. But it's going to be painful. And it's, again, I think we're way more complicated than just reducing everything to socialism sucks and, everyone should lift themselves up by the boot heels. We're more complicated than that, more nuanced. In fact, it's one of the things that's really interesting about ChatGPT is they just did a study where they had patients interact virtually with real doctors and with ChatGPT as doctors. Patients universally preferred ChatGPT, not only because they thought the answers were better, but they were more empathetic. ChatGPT, when you ask it really polarizing political questions, actually gives you nuanced answers, which we're not in a society that does anything resembling nuance when it comes to politics. So I actually think that these tools might be able to guide us to suck less as humans, because right now we suck pretty bad. Am I bitter? Yeah, I am. Tonight's open source swallowing the market stuff in the no moat leaked Google memo. Oh, thoughts on open source swallowing the markets. Yeah, so I'll tell you that in a second. Hang on, I need my water. I'm a little thirsty. Okay, so There was a leaked memo. Let's see, Google. Look up Google. No moat. Like castle moat. Google, we have no moat. And it takes you to a semianalysis.com site. And Google, locally on our phone, meaning you don't have to have an internet connection. You could be in the middle of the wilderness and look up, emergency safety information right on your phone. So I think what it means for us is that large language models are going to become they're going to become as ubiquitous as the internet. Just fabric of the internet will have large language models embedded in it. That's kind of how I see it playing out. I'm thinking about a way of forming an AI music band to play out live. I think that's actually kind of brilliant. I think that if you go to sounddraw.io, I think it is, that's a tool that it's kind of like loop music, like GarageBand is kind of the genre of music it creates, but it creates music very, very quickly. And then there's a bunch of other ones. So I would think if you SOUN, no, that's not it. Hang on, sorry about this. Come to Kyle Shannon's lives. You can watch him try to type and talk at the same time. It's hilarious. Sounddraw.io? Yeah, sounddraw.io. This is one, and you just say create music, and then you pick a genre, and it just funny and weird, fear, euphoric, hopeful. Select the genre, acoustic, beats, funk. So let's grab funk. Did I click it? Oh, I might have to sign in. Oh no, it says creating music. And then, now, like, here's all these songs. It's like it generated 20 songs like that. Right? So I could see using tools like this to generate songs. You could use ChatGPT to generate lyrics, and then, learn them and go. I think one of the things, if you look at there was a Drake and The Weeknd song where they synthesized their voices and used AI to compose the music, and then it essentially became a hit on the streaming services, and then they subsequently took them down. But I think you're going to start. We're entering a world where fan generated art is going to be as good or better than the original artists, and there's going to be all sorts of lawsuits about it. But I think it's really, really interesting. And what's her name? Grimes, Elon Musk's ex-girlfriend, baby mama, maybe had babies with him. She just said, synthesize my voice. Do anything you want with my music. Synthesize my voice, my likeness. Just give me half. So she's saying to her fan base, go figure this crap out. And if you make something interesting and it's a hit, give it to me. Or, give me half, which I think is a brilliant move. Let's find another dude. Oh, we'll do a little Joker version of me. That's disturbing. That'll be good for someone that just stumbles upon this. All right. If you've got questions, just pop them in here. I'll do my best to answer them. It popped me down to the bottom, so I'm kind of scrolling up trying to find things. Here we go. Okay, portrait rights and economic cycle structure are things that must be considered. ChatGPT. Yep, I agree. They must be considered, and everything's going to change. Like economic rights and compensation and attribution must be considered, but if anyone thinks that it's gonna be the way it is right now, they're being very naive. Everything's gonna change, and not just in the creative arts and rights and things like that. How do you make ChatGPT to interact to tabs open on Chrome, for example? So there are some extensions that you can get and use. There's so many of them, I've completely lost track. I stopped trying to deal with them. You can also download the Edge browser. So in the Edge browser, in the upper right-hand corner, you can't see it in the upper right corner there, but if you click on that, it opens a side drawer that's a chat window that is aware of the window to the left. My experience is that it's not always aware of the window to the left, but in theory, you can ask ChatGPT, Bing's ChatGPT questions about the web thing. So there's some ways to do that. I just haven't found. I don't have a need to do that all the time, so I don't have good answers for that one, unfortunately. But I would say check extensions and download the Edge browser and see if that does it for you. Follow those. I've lost you. My other TikToks are working. Yeah. You know what? Stream just crashed. This happened before. Can you tap the screen if I'm still live? Yeah, I'm not live. All right.